Hey, Neil.
Yep.
Can you see me over here? I'm over
good.
on the end tonight.
Looking good.
Thank you very much.
Good looking group, by the way. Good looking group. Handsome fellas.
Seasoned.
We'll pay you later.
Seasoned.
Yeah, seasoned.
This is a seasoned.
This is a seasoned. Anyone who knows the show knows when you hear the word
Seasoned guest.
seasoned guest. But by the way, welcome back, everybody. Off the Lip Radio Show number 819.
15. I don't know.
Yeah, 800. Yeah, we broke 800 a while ago.
Got some now.
Yeah, 10 years of shows. So welcome back, everyone. Tonight we got a pretty damn exciting show. Mr. Don Bostick right here, the man, the myth, the legend.
Do we still call you Two Dog Don?
You know, that's my surf name here in town, so these guys don't even know that.
They don't know that?
You know that?
Two Dog?
It's Two Dog Don right here.
that's how he's known.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw him sing Two
I had
Dog
my
Don.
two Yorkies when I would surf all the time, so...
You walked the dog before you went surfing.
yeah, always, yeah.
We got Two Dog Don here tonight. Dave Duncan's here.
Double D.
First time on the show. Double D in the house.
Stoked you back in Santa Cruz.
Knows everything about skateboarding, folks. So we'll
Voice of skateboarding.
we'll pick his brain. The voice, exactly.
I actually worked a surf tour, Budweiser surf tour in 91 or 2 at Steamer Lane here.
Oh.
And quite a few snowboarding tours.
Who won that? Was that like a?
God, don't even ask. Just keep moving.
Okay.
I'm saying not the skaters. I was thinking down to pleasure point out.
See, these guys, none of us remember shit.
I know. We'll test him again later.
Some things I gotta do good.
And over on the end,
Oh,
the N-Man himself.
Coach is waiting to the show tonight.
Well, Steve O's here. Steve Brockway.
He's the Barry S. local, and they got the full pipe dream N-Man beer right here with the Barry S.
But look at
What
this.
kind of beers we drinking?
They got the N-Men beers. Is that on there right now? You see that?
Yeah.
Right there?
Yeah.
Who did this art?
Paul Imogene from Sacramento.
Is he an N-Man?
He is our in-man artist.
All right.
Yeah,
Official.
In residence.
Well, and while we're speaking of that, you guys have a documentary that's going viral, I hear.
Yeah.
You know, you're doing the Sundance Film Festival circuit right now?
We're doing, right now, In-Men, The Untold Story.
I saw it in L.A.
Yeah, you saw it in L.A. Where it won first place for documentary film and also first place director. And then it's on the tour right now. We did a big premiere in Sacramento. We sold out the Crest Theater, 900-seat theater, 2 nights in a row. Never been done before.
Wow.
Were you signing autographs?
I signed so many autographs. I got carpal tunnel. And
Any boobs? I know Christy's here. You signed Christy's boob?
I didn't sign any boobs. No, I didn't. But a few dicks.
Okay. Well, hey. You have to shorten the Steve O. You can't put your whole name on there.
I didn't do that.
Just his initials.
Steve.
No, just use S.O.
S-T-E-V. No room for the E.
No.
All right. So so people who are watching, when can they see this?
So the movie is on a festival tour right now, and it'll be going to a streaming platform. I don't know which one, but it will be going soon to a streaming platform. It's called In-Men, The Untold Story. And this is the story that is the black side of Dogtown and the Z-Boys. So whatever was happening down there, we were doing up here in NorCal. Nobody was documenting anything we did. There was no photographers. There was no media. There was no magazines or anything like that happening in NorCal until Thrasher happened.
There was a little bit skateboard back when they did Hester series.
Yeah, but not
like
much.
Black Card and Indiana. Some stuff, but no, I'm saying there wasn't any.
Yeah.
But not overlooked.
The streets of Sacramento were overlooked.
Yeah, and so this is our story, which is basically every skate story in every town and every big city throughout the country and throughout the world. We just happen to be together still after 50 years, and we're still all skating together. So that's the difference. The big difference is whatever they did, those guys aren't skating together, and I know because Alva, I've sat and talked with Alva, those guys aren't skating together on a daily basis. We skate together on a weekly basis, and there's still a bunch of guys over 60 that are skating.
I feel like you guys take field trips together. Like you guys like have a bus. You're like, okay, let's go.
You know, it's kind of one of those things. Like like, who's got the most beer, and then let's go.
Still doing it.
Still that way.
You get in a boat ride, you go to Barry S and ride the full pipe.
And you're a Sacramento lifer?
I was born in Vacaville, which is down the road from Sacramento, and I moved to Sacramento in about '84. I had known Don Bostick since I'm about 15 years old, and we went to his shop in Sacramento.
Go skate.
Skateboards, etc.
Skateboards, etc.
Oh.
What year did you open that up?
76.
Skateboard in '76.
Yeah.
You had a skateboard shop?
Yeah.
Yeah. I had the team, and most of my team skated for Santa Cruz as well. So, yeah, you see in the movie the big part of what I had a Dodge van back then, a '75 Dodge van, because of my music and carrying drums. And so I carried usually a dozen kids around NorCal, going all over to all the contests before parks and then parks. And Steve was in that group. And even back then, we met, I think, as Sun Bowl in Vacaville. And at that time, he told me about the glory hole.
The Santa Cruz team came to Vacaville. I was skating for this shop called Sports Cove, my first sponsor.
Dude, is Sports Cove, is it still there?
No.
But it was there for a long time.
A long time.
Yeah.
Forever. And the Santa Cruz team came, and we were part of the Sports Cove team, which was like 3 people. And the Santa Cruz team came, and we were still like, oh, Santa Cruz team's coming to skate. Skated with those guys, we're super stoked. And I'm like, hey, we have this rad little concrete bowl that we called Twin Sisters Bowl. And we took those guys there, and we were like, rad. And Bostick was like, you're kind of aggressive.
You were?
Yeah. I remember, because I was hungry. I was like, I wanted to show people what was up.
Was he any good?
Super good, and his brother was super great too as well.
Yeah, he was better than I am.
Huh.
For sure.
Yeah. Phenomenal back then.
Wow. Okay. Well, I didn't know about your skate shop. So, you born in Sacramento?
Was I? No, I was born in Hawaii.
Hawaii.
Yeah.
Okay. We're thinking about our Hawaii people. So.
Rocking the
line up.
Black Flies Hawaii out for our Maui people out there.
Yeah. I'll tell you, my
Hearts
skate
are out
roots
there
go
for
back to San Francisco. Which is funny is that my dad was in the Navy, and I lived on the naval shipyard, which Thrasher ended up
Oh, wow.
Hunters
developing
Point.
their trucks and all that. I skated all over in Hunters Point on clay wheels. I chipped my tooth when I was 12. It's still there.
And it's still chipped.
Yeah, Hunters Point, which years later became the home of Thrasher and Emerco Industries, did independent and all that. So it's kind of cool.
Home of the best trucks ever.
Yeah.
Was it kind of abandoned during that time still, or was it?
Oh no, it's totally active.
It was still active then.
Yeah, I've got some old photos of me, skating back there on the shipyard.
Well, you live this long, so it's got to be the most toxic place on earth, man. Jeez. You survived. Nicely done.
Yeah, but I moved from there to Vallejo and finished high school up there, and then moved to Sacramento for a band. And I wanted to get off the road from playing music, so I opened up a skate shop, and that's how we had Stoker Hill downtown in Old Sac. That was the hub of skateboarding in the 70s in
That's
Sacramento.
where I met all the Inmen.
That's where everybody, the Edmund movie will tell you the whole story about Stoker Hill, and I started carting kids around as a result, and then ended up having a team. And yeah.
Wow.
Bostick was our dad. He was our big brother too.
So he had a license.
He was the guy that we knew was always down and was going to all the cool stuff. Man, we wanted to go.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how many N men are there?
Oh God.
That's a really loaded question, because I would say right now our effect is thousands deep. The actual core group is maybe 20 people deep, and the ones that started that are
Sure.
the first like 5 or 6 people. Some of those people are dead, and this is part of the movie and part of the life and times. It's not just a skateboarding movie. It's also about family and friends and the things that happen in our lives.
Oh, I get it. Yeah, that's awesome. Jumping ahead a little bit, Double D's here.
Howdy, howdy.
The voice of skateboarding, I like that. And I'm actually really excited you're here because I was at the San Francisco X Games and watched T-Hawk do the 900 live.
1999,
I know you were there because I was watching you, and I have told so many people this, and mark my words when I say it. Tony Hawk would have never done that 900 if it wasn't for you.
Thank you.
You talked his ass into climbing back on that goddamn skateboard. He slammed so many times.
How many attempts were there?
I don't know,
I think 14 or something.
Yeah, it was an
14.
ungodly amount.
What had happened was he did a Vero 720 for the best trick contest, and Colin McCain, some of the guys were doing tricks that they actually won because of online vote of like the crowd out in the world was voting whoever, and Tony had 15 minutes left or something, I think, and he's like, what do? I don't know what to do. And I'm like, just spin some nines, because at the demos, they used to like see people do 540s. Do them at twist, 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 and we shout. So I'm like, do a 9, 9, 9. So I kind of did that same chant that we did 10 or 20 years earlier with the twist, 10, 15 years earlier. Anyway, so it's like, just spin them for, people just to see, wow, you came close to a 9. It's a rad thing. And then even a knee slide out, oh my gosh.
Did you think it was possible?
Nobody thought it was possible. It hadn't been done yet. I saw Danny Way try it 8 years prior to that in Germany. It's in one of the videos. I forgot which video it was. Maybe one of the wheels, whatever it was, Santa Cruz, whatever. So, anyways, yeah, there's footage of Danny Way coming really close in early 91 or something.
I'll give you a backstory to it too. Is that a month before that we were in New Jersey for the Triple Crown, Vans Triple Crown, and I happened to be announcing at the time. And again, Tony had already done his Varial 720. And it was like, hey, let's try that 900 thing. And it was like for entertainment. You didn't really expect him to do it.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
And I always asked Tony about it that Duncan should get more credit for actually setting the seed in his mind that night. Because I was on the ramp there,
I watched you guys. You were on. Both of you guys were on the deck.
You know what? It was a whole industry was there. The crowds there. The sun was there. And what happened was, the time was up. ESPN normally cuts the show and let's go watch basketball or something. Like, no, they're like, keep it rolling. This isn't and that thanks ESPN for keeping it going and capturing that moment. They realized what they had, and like Tony just looked in his eye like, I want to make this. And the fact that they just kept pushing him, that's what he needed. If it was a backyard session somewhere, he probably wouldn't have done it. He needed
you
all
pushed
that
him.
Excitement. No, but
the crowd. Yeah. Well, and when
that's my job.
Well, it was incredible too because at that second when he made it, every arm in that crowd went straight in the air. Like that, you could have powered New York for
Tony
a day.
Alva was there, Caballero was there,
incredible.
Thrasher guys were there. All the guys mobbed him. Whatever, it was a big deal.
It was exciting.
It's like the whole industry made it. Like we had all risen up together and done something cool.
But that X Games was exciting.
It was.
There was a lot of energy for that X Games.
It was. The X Games in the first few years was kind of a little rough around the edges. We had to smooth things up. By then, it was really polished and coming together. That's right when Travis Pastrana was
He
flying.
flipped into the water.
Motocross. Really, the X Games was coming of age.
I was working for.
They got rid of the sky surfing and some of the weird stuff.
Yeah, but I was there every day for the whole thing. So I worked for DC, and so I had to hang out. But Travis's deal was incredible. Pastrana, I mean, he jumped into the bay.
They supposedly got fined $10,000 or something because they wanted oil in the bay or something.
I know and expected.
He didn't care. But he was a wow factor. Was he like 19 or something? Maybe 15? I don't know. 17.
He was young.
Young teenager. He was a teenager. Trying to make a name for himself against Brian Deegan and all the mental militia guys.
Exactly. Yeah, because they were doing double backflips, and I don't know if
eventually they did.
I got a quick backstory to the night. That night, Tuss Pappas.
Oh yeah.
Tuss was at Vista at the YMCA working on the 9 nonstop for weeks ahead of the X Games. At the X Games Best Trick, only 5 skaters got invited. Normally it's an open event to anybody. Tuss was not invited.
ESPN had their own list of like.
We had the whole list, and it was basically guys that won and done stuff before. I'll tell you this: I'm on the top of the vert ramp when Tony landed it. We're all going crazy. Tuss Pappas looked at me, and it was like, that should have been me.
And it could have been.
And so it could have been, but Tuss, check out Tuss and his brother. They have a documentary out,
All
and he
this
totally
man,
calls out,
all this man.
Don Bostick at the X Games denied me. You know, and I watched the show and going, whoa, he's, you know, totally, he denied me. It should have been me. You know, and I actually called to us. I said, dude, you know, it is what it is. But you know, I just watched recently on YouTube, and everybody should watch that night again. If you haven't watched it in a while, watch it again. There's another documentary out that Tony has out explaining about it.
It took Toss a few years to make it. He made it on a mini mega rev. He never made it on a regular rev. Tony did. Right. So Toss, if you're that close, make it like a week or a month later. He never did. So
you know, I also saw
nothing against Tony's and all that, but
no,
Tony deserves the glory.
Tony's social media just recently he posted that board got stolen that night.
I heard about that.
Yeah, and he got it back. The neighbor, the neighbor was like, "Hey, I know where your board is," and the neighbor stole it back.
Wow.
Yeah, which is a cool
Somebody
story.
that was working the contest.
Yeah, someone that was working security or something took it. Which is to me, that's such a great story. And Tony says that this is like my prized board. You know?
Did he keep it or he donated it to some museum or something? He did
I don't know
I saw a post. Go check out Tony's post. You'll find that story.
Do you think that's the biggest moment skateboarding?
One of them, definitely one.
Is there
Of them.
something else?
To me, the biggest one was the bearings in the Road Rider Fords I just watched.
Yeah.
I just went to this NHS museum history thing and tour when but we had the loose ball bearings,
exactly.
You know, and then when they invented, the guy had a Xerox machine where they had sealed bearings, and this guy's like, these bearings will work perfect in these wheels, and that to me, because they were so much quieter and just so much easier, and just like that allowed the ditches and the pools, just like the dog tower.
You know that happened in this building?
That's
because it was upstairs. Yeah.
So. Thank you for that. To me, it was a magical moment in my life. We used to skate clay wheels at school, you know, and whatever. It's not the same than your thing. So.
Well, my first precision bearing was a Road Rider 2.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I was the Catch Me Out.
But
that came out. I believe I thought the 2 was first, but
it might have been.
I think 2 came out first. 2, 4, and 6.
I had Cadillac DK51s. That was my first precision bearing wheel.
But I think that's like
Cadillac
we're all the same
too.
stage.
Cadillac was the first loose bearing.
That was a monumentum change.
These ones, this was like, I had loose bearings, wheels, and then I got Cadillac wheels with precision bearings, and I was like,
but didn't that change? Like that? It was so smooth and quiet, and like
Wow.
just like a magic carpet ride.
Yeah.
Well, to me, that was a big point.
I remember one time sitting on my board and I saw something catch my eye and I looked and it was my bearings rolling down the hill. You know, like, I was like, what the hell?
I got a story about that. The first time we ever skated the Glory Hole was in 1976, and precision bearings still were just starting to hit the market, and we had climbed down there and we were coming around and we looked up and we saw the Glory Hole, and we were on these boards like this wide. And we looked at it and we're like, there's no way. You can't ride this thing. It's too big. And so we went in there and started skating, but some of us had precision bearing wheels and some of us had loose bearing wheels. That's where that was the timeline, was like that close. And I remember us chasing ball bearings down the Glory Hole to put them back in the wheels so we could skate some more. Wow.
Well, because they weren't aircraft nuts. You could like, they were like loose nuts. So everything loosened so easy.
It had a cone, a back cone.
Yeah.
Nut,
and then another
and then you
nut.
put the bearings in, and then push the wheel on, and then you would turn your board over, drop your bearings in again, then the top nut, cone nut, get that just the right tightness, and then it had a D-ring that would go down on top of it, because the axles, at the end of the axles, had a slice.
Yeah.
And so that thing wouldn't spin. The D-ring would go down, then you would turn your outer nut. And if you didn't do that just right, it would get too tight or it'd be too loose.
Right.
And they had to get it just right.
So anyways, precision bearings,
Yeah.
Big move.
Yeah, precision bearings. Oh my God.
So, looking back to that 900, is there something else that pops up that you think?
I was just going to say the key thing to that night, is pointed out in the documentary that he just brought out again, is that it was a Friday night. People in bars everywhere are watching the X Games. It was supposed to go right into football, and instead they kept it on Tony and the Best Trick into the football. So all these people normally watching football are watching Tony. So that made a big impact.
You already had a little bit of name. That really pushed his name.
But it really made a big impact on the viewing audience. How many people?
Well, that helped all of skateboarding.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And he did the video
Sure
game.
helped Tony out.
He did the video game right after that.
Yeah.
The kids that didn't even skate or little skate, they learned every trick in the world. They say, "Do you know Tony Hawk's?" They think his name is because it's Tony Hawk's pro skater. They think his name is really Tony Hawk's.
When you
know
travel,
Tony
people
Hawk's?
say that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Anyways, yeah,
And-
that's another big thing they all push. And, all the skate parks and stuff, that changing the laws, I think, helped a lot. Because all the 70s parks got closed when they changed the laws and made, now you have probably 3,000 or 4,000 skate parks in America, and that's a huge
There's
thing that's changed.
20,000 skate parks worldwide right now.
Yeah.
Well-
Concrete Disciples just posted that.
Right, I'm
yesterday.
just saying.
I
and
say
that's-
it every
that's 'cause
day.
It changed the last.
Without
10
tennis courts, you can't play tennis.
Correct.
And so having these skate parks are like tennis courts
Yeah.
for
For
skateboarding.
teenagers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so there's always going to be some place you can
That's
go.
another big monumental change, in my opinion, of what's going on in the skateboard world. It's just how
Parks coming back.
kids ride. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the parks disappeared and so did skateboarding
Yeah,
pretty much,
yeah.
at that time.
We went to backyard pools, ditches, building backyard ramps. That's how come I'm even here with you guys. To build a lot of ramps, and they,
Right.
hey Dave, come on the tour and help us build these ramps. So
Yeah.
You're a carpenter.
go over here. Yeah, I'm a carpenter my whole life. Yeah, I do custom homes and all that. We do ramps for fun.
Oh,
Just
the
got
best.
it necessary.
Yeah.
Yeah, Steve and I built
Yeah,
a lot of
we
ramps all over
We used to
here.
travel the circuit and build all the skate courses and all the ramps.
So then I'm there like, hey, will you help us judge or announce? I'm like, yeah, whatever. I'm the older guy there.
And then they couldn't shut you up after that.
No, it's been a good run. It's been a
I'll
good
tell
run.
you a quick story about Duncan. Years ago, and Santa Cruz was part of the sponsorship.
This
We're
made
in
me laugh.
Barcelona.
I was gonna say Spain. He's
We're
coming
in
from Spain.
Barcelona,
100%.
Spain, the year before the Olympics were in Barcelona.
I just got back from Spain
We're
a
in
couple
one
weeks
of the
ago.
big arenas for the gymnastics the
Olympics
year
arena,
before.
yeah. Huh.
Duncan goes there by himself.
It was,
He has to build a vert ramp and a street course, and he asks for English-speaking staff, local guys. He ends up
translate
with
for me, yeah.
He ends up with one guy. We show up 2 weeks after he'd been there, just the two guys,
I worked in a lumber yard.
and he learned a lot of Spanish that year.
I learned in school too, so it all came back. My
Built a
The
complete
whole
vert
thing?
ramp and a complete street course with him and one other guy in Barcelona.
Wow.
The thing was, I'd say, hey, I need like 5 pieces of plywood, and they'd go, mañana. I'm like, no mañana. I need it now. They're like, no, siesta. We're on a siesta break. But everything was like, they're so slow until I'm like, no, I'm California. I gotta go.
Crazy stuff.
Like the track framers out here, we fly, we go, whatever.
Who between you guys has been in the most contests?
Oh, Duncan.
For sure.
Been in the most
No,
contests?
been
Gone to
at.
the most.
Oh,
yeah.
gone the most? Yeah.
Oh,
for
for
sure.
sure.
I've been to Europe like 100 times. I've been back to Europe I'm going next week. 3 times this year for 30 years. That's 90 right there, and a lot of in between for snowboarding.
TC, go ahead, Don.
I said we used to travel a lot together. I stopped. Daniel and I stopped doing that 10 years ago. He never stopped.
Yeah.
He's over there still representing World Cup skateboarding.
And they're big. We just had
Yeah.
250, 240, 50 skaters in Prague and in Spain at our events. Got 50 girls over there. Like it's
Wow.
big. Yeah, we got big events going and good prize money. This weekend we got with Tim Rush because that's why we're here.
Yeah.
27 grand.
27
prize
grand.
money.
I saw that.
We got a bunch
Yeah.
of money for masters,
Yeah, and
grandmasters,
that's
girls.
and actually a great
Yeah.
segue
Yeah, rate the
to
rate.
talk about that.
You got those sponsors on your phone?
I got it right here. We got some great. Well, first off,
yeah, let's say
Yeah,
thanks
she
to
did.
Cindy Boosenard.
the Tim.
Tim Ross is a good friend of mine. He's a
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I knew Tim well.
And the fact that we're keeping his name going, I'm proud to be part of it. Keeping it going. So, anyways, go
Yeah.
ahead. Yeah,
So
She works hard.
yeah, she does. And
Well,
it's a nonprofit
Yeah.
thing. All the money goes back to prize person just to
Yeah.
put back to skate. And they send a lot of kids to Woodward. And they do a lot of good stuff. So,
well, it's a great event, and some great skateboarders show up to it. So even if you don't skate, if you go to Mike Fox Park this weekend, you'll see some
Santa Cruz, one of the
amazing.
big full pipe.
Yeah, you'll
skateboarders.
see some amazing.
Let's do the sponsors and the
Okay.
Yeah.
seasoning.
Right. Well, and first I want to say thanks to Cindy at Merch 4 because she runs this contest.
Yeah. And Tim
And
Rush Foundation, which a
and
lot of
the
people do.
foundation.
She does a lot of fundraising to
Sponsors
keep all
our
this
show.
going. Yeah.
yeah, and she sponsored this show since the first day of Merch
did she?
4,
Nice. Good enough.
and has
Yes, it is.
at a drop of anything, she helps us out.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about the sponsors. Okay, so first off, Testdorf Construction, Merge 4, of
Yeah.
course. Pal Peralta, Independent Trucks, Santa Cruz Skateboards, Santa Cruz Warriors. They actually donated a Draymond Green signed basketball.
Yeah, I know,
that they're
right.
going to
The
auction that
basketball
off.
team,
yeah,
yeah.
they're going to raffle off. We got Shadowbrook, The Farm, The Boardroom, Bill's Wheels Pack Wave, Bones Wheels, Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk, Embassy Skateboards, Dogtown, Mountains Wave, Thrasher, 187 Killer Pads, 888, Nixon and Vans. We got the Curb Creeps playing, I believe, tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, Curb Creeps are tomorrow. Then we have Heavy Blazer, and so you can check their music on Spotify if you want to see that. And then we have and JJ's Saloon, which is our local drinking.
I was there last night.
Yeah, JJ's. Yep. So JJ's, thank you for that. And so again, the contest is this Saturday and Sunday.
Tomorrow's amateur, Saturday's amateur,
Yep.
Sunday's the pros.
Sunday's the pros.
There's a lot of great amateurs out there, the leveled amateurs. They're just trying to get a big name, so they do events to get out there. You know, just like in all the sports now, the young kids are ripping. You know,
$27,000.
Yeah, that's for Sunday.
Yeah, for Sunday.
Is that what she's
Yeah.
raising?
We have big goodie bag packages of gear for all the kids for amateurs.
Right.
Yeah, good
That's big money.
Yeah, that's huge.
I mean, I don't know of another event in Northern
It's
California
legit. No, it's
that
legit
has that
money.
much money in
there's
it, you
not.
know?
Even in California, period. I mean,
Yeah,
it's a big
that's
one.
a big, giant purse,
Yeah.
you know? And so,
A non-TV event.
Yeah.
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 And so I hope that, again, if you're watching, head on down to Mike Fox Park. You're on the microphone?
Yeah, go to World Cup Skateboarding, WCSK.com. Check out our stuff on Instagram. You'll see all kinds of updates and stuff. See the flyer on Tip Rush.
Nice. Yeah.
the
And that
foundation,
flyer's
the
on
foundation.
the boardrooms as well. And tomorrow will be amateurs. And what time does that action start tomorrow? Noon?
I think 10:30 or something.
10:30 we start heats?
I'm not sure what it is.
A lot of organized practice in the morning, and then
Yeah.
we organize
Okay.
the heats
Yeah.
for the day. Yeah.
And so if you get there around lunch or so, you'll be able to see
Oh, yeah,
plenty of
it's gonna go-
action.
It's going to go on all day till I think 3 or 4, and then we bring in pros for practice, which will be great sessions tomorrow after,
Yeah.
all the way till dark.
Which will be amazing. And curb creeps tomorrow, which, you know, if you like some fast music,
Yeah.
those guys will get your music
Bring your
fix.
earplugs.
Maybe if you stand next
Oh,
to the
they're
speaker.
outdoors. You're okay. You're
Yeah.
okay.
No, but they're a good band.
Should we talk about the off-season guests? Should we talk about the? Go to talk
I
about
almost
that.
forgot.
Start with
Basically, what we do is we ask our seasoned guests. Now, there's no age on season. It's just maybe miles.
Got some gray in your hair.
Yeah, you know, and so we ask our seasoned guests their favorite decade and why. And Don Bostick will be first.
Don's first.
Your favorite decade and why?
I'm going to say the 90s, because for World Cup skateboarding, the 90s was huge, and that the first event we did was Slam City Jam.
Yeah.
Back to the city,
Yep.
World Championships in Münster, Germany, and I had announced it as the first official world tour. And
It was
Slam City
NSA
Jam.
before the national skateboard. Now we're going
Yeah.
worldwide with Germany, and we get World Cup skateboarding.
Wow.
Go ahead.
Yeah, as NSA, I went to Germany for 2 years before starting World Cup skateboarding, and back in the 90s, I mean, Germany and the World Championships in Münster, Germany was the event, and all of Europe would show up there.
All the world. Yeah, we had guys from
And-
Australia and everywhere.
Was that a Titus?
Brazil guys?
Yeah,
Titus.
Yeah.
So we worked with Titus,
I helped build
and-
all the ramps, design some of the stuff he's talking about during the Spanish same time.
and you'd be in this Münster Holland was the name of the arena, and it was amazing at how many people would fill this place up back then for skateboarding.
Electric energy.
Electric energy.
Skateboarding's kind of dead here in America, but there was alive. We saw the potential.
Europe
what
was
gonna come
unbelievable,
back
and it
around.
actually gave me a spark of wow. This
We
is,
have
this is
something here,
bigger than what we have in California.
Because it was dying back here.
Everybody here was a superstar.
Yeah.
You talk about signing autographs and stuff.
Danny Way and those guys.
Danny Way,
yeah.
Eric
Yeah.
Dressen, so many guys.
Eric Costin, a lot of dudes, yeah.
All those guys. It was huge.
Tim Rosh.
So I feel like the 90s, there was some special things each year that
It
happened.
was very exciting.
We ended up growing the tour in Europe and Le Grand Bonan in France, in the French Alps.
Yeah.
Some crazy
Most of
stuff
the time.
from Steve Schneer skating naked
Yeah.
on the vert ramp
Yeah. He missed the cut by one. He goes, "I'll do my run naked," or whatever.
to a full-on
No
riot.
pads, barefooted, whatever. Yeah.
To a full-on riot
Oh,
one
3
night
a.m.
when all the guys from
They had to bring the mayor out.
Zorlak,
That was fun.
all the guys from the Zorlak team, Steve Schneer,
Great
we're in
job,
this little
yeah.
village in the French Alps, and Steve Schneer's out on this
Rest in
big
peace,
podium
Robert
going,
Steve Schneer.
"Fuck the French! Fuck the French!" True skateboarding, and that night there was almost a pure riot, and at like 2 a.m, we set up a PA, and I said, "Look, guys, calm down. They're going to cancel the contest, kick us out of town. We need the contest to go on tomorrow. I was just with Don Fisher, and he brought up that memory about how I'm in this village, and all the skaters, everybody's completely been drinking the whole night and all that, and it was almost a full-on riot, and I'm begging them to just calm down so we can have the skate contest tomorrow. And eventually everybody did, and because there's no security in this little village. The mayor was pleading with us.
Yeah.
The way I call it is, I went into with Pierre Andre from Etnies. Pierre Andre and I had a meeting with the mayor, and I didn't understand French, but I knew what he was saying.
Calm the fuck down.
Well, you know what? Rare to get 90s.
Yeah.
So yeah, the 90s plays a big part, and the other
And then
big part in
99,
the
so
90s,
and
which he
it's
just
all in
came
between
from,
all that, yeah.
Prague, Mystic Cup in Prague.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. He's never missed a year. You know, I went there for like 10, 11 years. Just great times back then.
And so, Don, we have a follow-up question to that. What is your favorite day? And
That's
why?
true.
Of that decade?
Of any decade.
Of any decade.
Your favorite day skateboarding and why?
Okay, my favorite day skateboarding is when I won the La Costa Masters race. I won $200, and the two guys that second place was Dennis Schufelt, third place was Cliff Coleman. Cliff and I were both on Santa Cruz at the time, and so I reflect back that at the time Dennis Schufelt was billed as the world's fastest skateboarder.
Yeah.
So I beat both of them. Both of them are now in the Hall of Fame. I'm not.
Yeah.
But
One day.
But, yeah.
But every time I see Dennis, he goes, "There's a guy that beat me," you know. And Cliff and I were on Santa Cruz together. We have a lot of great times together. But to continue the story is, 40 years later, Di Dudson, who ran that race, was at my house last year for the Elgato Classic, and it was November 14th. She was at my house last year. And I said, "Hey, I got my trophy from back in the day, from that race. It's a little plaque." And the plaque was a picture of me and Di. I'm getting my money and I'm kissing her. And there's a picture on the plaque of us kissing. I went in my back room, I found the plaque, I brought it out. It happened to be November 14th, the same day that we were looking at it
Wow.
40 years later.
There's
Wow.
your answer. The day, same day. Wow.
Same day. It's a cool
The
day.
same date.
Wow.
Just by coincidence, I said, "Hey, I think I got that," and she was there. So it was very trippy.
Wow.
That's a great day.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
Okay.
Double T, your favorite decade and why?
You know, just hearing him talk about the 90s, skateboarding was kind of coming of age, and it really blew up worldwide then. Like he was saying, the video stuff was getting big. People were starting to really, get in touch worldwide. So I almost have to take it back to the 80s, I think, because I grew up in the 70s, and all the parks closed, but we still wanted to skate. We go to these broken down, hop the fence, and this is early 80s. There's, no one around. Where'd everyone go? So we were riding ditches and pools and building our backyard ramps, and we kind of were part of building that scene up. One of the big things I think of is Mike Chantry had his Terra Tahoe ramp in the mid-80s where everyone was going. We go to Texas, and the Thrasher was coming around, connecting Florida and Texas and all the Midwest. So to me, I think the 80s was a rebuild time that just went from zero to, like they said, up to the 90s, late 80s. We were in Europe doing all these big events, and things were getting crazy. Yeah, so to me, and I turned pro in 87, so that was a dream of mine. I never thought I'd be a pro skater, but the fact that skateboarding came back so strong, we never quit. We're riding pools. I'm riding pools with Tony Alva and Jay Adams, which are heroes of mine in the 70s. I never hung out with them then, but so that was a dream to me, and to be able to travel. Well, hey, here's your name on a board. We'll fly to Australia for 3 weeks, go to Europe, make money. So I'm like, what, Judge? Okay, I'll just so avoid a real job. Now all of a sudden, and I never stopped. From then, went to Europe first time in '87. Went to Brazil in '85. And I thought, that's the one time in your life you're going to go to Europe. You're supposed to go to Europe when you're in college or whatever. So I went, and I've been back like 100 times, just because I met the right people with events and stuff. But at the time, I thought, hey, let's go to Europe,
Wow.
So thanks all that. So that I would have to say, for me, the 80s.
And what's the
just
day?
because
And
just all the
yeah.
and all the backyard pool sessions, we'd have cameras. You were a kook if you brought a camera or a girl or a video guy or a magazine guy or whatever. Like, no, this is real skating. We're skating pools. no BS, that kind of thing. I mean, sometimes we sneak in stuff. Well, we don't have document much.
Sounds like Salva.
Yeah, exactly. Well, video cameras came later in the late '80s. Obviously people started making videos, H Street and Powell and everybody. So video cameras became through the '80s. In the early '80s, no video cameras, just photos and mags. So really, it changed a lot then. So I would have to say that era.
Your favorite day?
Man, I went to Europe. And they go, we're going to give you a pro model. So I just got back from Brazil. I went to Hawaii. I was a carpenter, so I'd spend my own money to go to these places, and Al would pay half. So in fact, I'm getting photos of mag traveling. I went to Europe. I broke my leg. I came home and I saw my first pro model with Tony Alva. And my buddy had it, and I had a broken leg. And I'm like, wow, I finally have a pro model skateboard. My dream of my life with Alva, and I can't even skate.
So
whatever.
no big no big reveal for that pro model?
Back then we didn't do. I mean, I designed the board and I designed an ad for it before I went to Europe. So yeah, I knew it's. I designed the graphics and all that. Yeah, but nowadays they do huge reveals on it. And stuff,
Do you still have a board
yeah,
from that day?
Oh,
That's
for sure. I mean, and other than that, the days my daughters were born, probably family. Special times in my life. But if we're talking skating, that would have to be. I remember I had a girlfriend that she wanted to marry me and all this, and I'm like, I don't know, I'm not ready. She went and got married, had a kid within 6 months. Look at my kid. And I'm like, yeah, look at my board. I'm serious. That was like it is. I got my board, you got your kid. Right?
Everyone's happy.
Yeah, kind of. So, I've basically been, married to skateboarding, so to speak. And
You're right to remember that.
I think that's the line of the show, everybody, by the way. It's going to go in the quote book.
I haven't thought of that in a while, so thanks. That's another special day, I guess you could say.
All right,
Anyways,
Steve,
there you go.
next up.
I gotta say, right now,
I was gonna
skateboarding
say
is
right now, too, yeah,
amazing.
exactly,
There's more skateboarding happening worldwide than is ever happened.
The fact that we're still going.
We're
is
still
insane.
going.
Yeah.
I'm 62. I skated the Glory Hole last weekend and probably had one of the better sessions that I've ever had. We had a tailwind from God. It was so good. It was so good. It was so good. And so I just have to say now, and then best day right now is right now because today
Yeah, the brand new
The
Inman beer.
The beer.
Hey,
Full Pipe beer came out.
Love it.
Today's a really good day.
And I did frontside grinds at the park today, so that felt pretty
Yeah.
good. Yeah. it's
And
still
is that an
skating.
honor, or is that a licensing deal? What is that? What do we got going on with this?
It's a licensing deal, and
Oh,
You
they
get-
did
you get
do that. Everyone hires a brewery.
You get some free beer out of the deal.
It's
and-
good beer. You
Yeah.
gotta go to a good brewery.
yeah, no,
It's good beer.
and we're stoked because I mean this kind
The
of
graphics and
the
stuff.
graphics are really rad, and then they kind of express us skating the Glory Hole, which is something that
Part of the
is
ending,
like
yeah.
Where
super
can,
close to my
where
heart.
can one buy that?
It's a unique place in the world.
Right now, it's available at Berryessa Brewing,
Okay.
which is where it comes out, and
Berryessa's Glory Hole.
yeah, and Shred Brewing. So it was a co-fab on those two brewing companies. Collab. And so it just came out today. I picked this up at the brewery on the way down, and I was about a mile. I'm like, can I get some? Can I get some? And I was waiting and waiting and waiting, and then a mile before the turnoff coming down here, he goes, "Yeah, come by the brewery." And I'm like, "Okay, well, I'm making the detour to Winters to get it." So we went like 30 miles out of our way to get it. Brought a case down here to
That's cool.
celebrate with.
Yeah.
But you know, a lot of people say today. A lot of people, don't they?
Oh yeah, no, that's a common answer. No,
The comment is today.
and a lot of it for a lot of people, because again, we're talking about some of our seasoned people who have experienced loss and are happy to be standing vertical a lot of times.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
like it's so that's always like the today sort of answer, or like I surfed yesterday and it was awesome.
Yeah.
Like that kind of stuff.
High
you
five
know?
on
So,
that, buddy.
Yeah, so that's kind of what you hear.
Still doing same thing I did when I was a teenager. I can't believe similar vibes. Of just
I mean, all that
the lust for life. Dude.
all the
Wow.
other stuff has been great. It's been great for. I've been skating for 49 years. Next year will be 50 years, and it's all been great. But I never kind of look back. I always looking forward, and like right now, is the shit. As far as I'm concerned, it's a shit. I mean, I'm stoked.
That's awesome. All three of you are working at the Tim Brosh contest this
Yeah.
weekend. What's the duties? What do we got? I know you're judging.
I'm the judge.
I'm announcing.
You're announcing. You're doing
Computer guy.
computer guy.
And Ultra Hot Christy is doing registration.
Yeah.
Hashtag Ultra Hot
Come over
Christy.
here, behind the scenes.
Okay.
When you
By the way-
when you see the plaque here at the front of the door, and this building. What does that mean to you? This building mean to you?
Dude, I took a picture of the bat. I mean, there's so much history. Like I said, I just went to the museum for Santa Cruz
NHS,
History
yeah.
Museum, NHS, and I'm looking at Jimbo Phillips' art on the wall. I'm looking at all this history of stuff, and I mean, I love skateboarding, so I love art. I love the lifestyle of it all, and you guys represent it here. I mean, I was asking him how long's been it since he said he came and got boards in the '70s back here.
I used to come in the
So,
back door
yeah.
and buy boards from Tim
So
Permato.
that's
Yeah.
roots. Respect to the
You-
roots.
you-
I love all
yeah.
this stuff, and this is part of the roots, and it's right here near the ocean. I
Yeah.
love the ocean. It's beautiful. And
No, Blackheart was telling me they tested indies on the bank out back. You know,
Yeah.
there's a lot of history right here.
Yeah.
Thrasher was marriage happened in here.
Yeah, so that's I just posted on my Instagram that they were here. This is because it's a special place. So thank
Yeah.
you. Thanks for having us.
That's great.
And it also happens to be probably the best skate shop in all of NorCal. I mean, flat out. They always have everything you want
Yeah.
and need, and all the stuff that you don't need that you want.
Yeah.
He does get a discount.
Hey, Malik.
Well, Neil, go ahead. I know you were going to say something here a
I did
second
it.
ago.
I already did.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm looking forward to this weekend.
Yeah.
Just so everybody remembers, Tim Brosh contest, the annual contest at Mike Fox Park, which is down at the river across from the boardwalk. Mike Fox Park. Tomorrow we have the amateurs. Sundays we have the pros. $27,000 purse.
Yeah.
We have girls competing. We have the men and
We have
junior
40
divisions.
We have 50
Masters
numbers,
and
Grandmasters,
Grandmasters.
yeah.
Masters and
A bunch
Grandmasters.
of amateur divisions.
All right. And will there be a double D freestyle session going on?
Sure, I'll spit some 360.
Okay, I love it.
We might both jump in the bowl in the Grandmasters and do some grinds.
I normally see double D skate
I try to
sometime
jump
during
in
the
there
day.
if I'm healthy. I'm healthy right now. I took some slams in the full pipe today.
Hey, talk about our DJ.
Oh yeah, DJ Davey, Davi, my friend who's friends with Pedro Barros, the guys in Florianopolis. They call it RTMF. They have a big event every year down there, and they do a lot of stuff in Brazil. This guy's all over Brazil doing big events. He's done a lot with the World Cup there.
Yeah.
He's from a town called Santa Cruz in Brazil, and Santa Cruz and India are some of the biggest licensee deals in there. They do it with Drop Dead Guys, which
Yeah.
is he's part of all this stuff in Florianopolis. So when he found out this contest in Santa Cruz, he goes, Dave, I'm going to pay my own way. It's my dream to come to California and work with you guys at World Cup, doing a World Cup in here. So it was part of his dream to go to Santa Cruz and see all the history. So he'll be there. We brought in a special DJ from Brazil who plays a lot of variety of punk rock and heavy metal, rock and roll, and just a variety of cool stuff. He's got funky stuff in there too. They'll be fun.
Awesome.
Yeah, we got a special
And
guy.
curb creeps.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we got Brazilian skaters are here. We got skaters from Japan. We got people from all over. We just had a big event last weekend at the Orchid in Santa Barbara, Mike Taylor's place. It's north of Powell headquarters.
Orchid's cool.
I'm going to give a shout out to Timmy
Pono?
from Pono downtown. We got a fundraiser tomorrow for Maui.
Yep.
No Malacca Doja's playing, so it's going to be a huge
yeah.
crowd. No Malacca Doja, great Santa Cruz
Great
band.
band. That'll be a
great
great
band.
show. Yeah.
And it's at downtown at Pono at 7 o'clock till 10
Brother
o'clock.
Timmy's from Maui.
Speaking of
Yeah.
Maui, there we go, Hawaii, right there. Big up to Hawaii,
Yeah.
people.
Well, thank you everybody for tuning in.
Thank you.
Guys, thanks for coming.
Thanks for having us.
I got a
Awesome show.
Down the end to the right.
Tomorrow, Tim Brosh.
Amen.
Tomorrow night, No
Amen.
Malacca Doja at Pono.
Yep.
Benefits. Sunday is the pro division at the contest. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Neil, have a great night.
Thanks, buddy.
See you later.